Okay, well, let's get right into it. We're here to talk about the accounts payable pain points holding your team back, the things that sometimes make AP a real P in the A. So what are they? Our first pain point is a big one, manual data entry. According to Level Research, 71% of companies point to manual data entry and related process inefficiencies as their top pain point. What that tells us is that manual data entry sucks, and most people know it. But why is it such a pain point? Well, a lot of finance professionals are making important business decisions based on inaccurate financials. And according to Blackline research, an incredible 41% of finance pros blame manual data entry for those dodgy numbers. Sage research has shown that accountants spend up to 57% of their day entering data, leaving little room for anything else. And here's one final stat to hit you with. Despite all this, 86% of SMEs still enter their invoice data by hand. So manual data entry is a major problem, and yet little is being done about it. We're going to jump into our demo now and show you just how Sage AP Automation can help to address the pain point around manual data entry. So here we are located in the Sage AP Automation platform under our Invoices tab. And what we're trying to tackle is the pain point of manual data entry. So every time an invoice enters Sage AP Automation, it's going to come into the system and have the PDF pulled like this. How we're able to reduce the manual data entry is we're going to use an OCR technology and a form of automation to read this header information. So every single time your invoice enters the system, we're going to pick up your vendor, your invoice number, your date, your due date, subtotals, taxes, and totals. Now, additionally, if this is a recurring invoice, we're going to utilize a feature called Smart Code, which is a button at the top here. When we hit Smart Code, it's going to code the invoice the exact same way you did the month previous, eliminating the need to code any additional line items like GL accounts, descriptions, items, unit costs, all those kinds of things. Now, I hear what you're saying. What if I don't have reoccurring invoices and most of them are coming in are non-reoccurring or invoices with large line items? Well, additionally, Sage AP Automation offers a feature called line item capture. What this does, it actually reads the invoice at the line item level and codes it for you here below. So this example only has the one invoice or the one line item, sorry, but say it was to have 5 to 10, the system would scan each individual line item, code out each description, GL account, unit cost, all that information that is applicable to your Sage account and have that listed below. So now all we're doing as an accounts payable professional is we are reviewing this page rather than having to key in all the manual data entry, eliminating that pain point of having to manually key in all that information. So from there, let's explore our second pain point now, the approval process. If you've spent days knocking on doors and chasing signatures, you're not alone. We've surveyed over 200 AP professionals and found that they spend on average 20% of their time managing approvals. Add that to the time spent on manual data entry and we're up to 77%. We're running out of day already. And complex approval processes gum up the works. It can take up to 45 days to process an invoice, pushing the average cost per invoice past $15. Delays in the approval process have knock-on effects too. Late payment fees, missed early payment discounts, and damaged vendor relationships are all a potential consequence of approval roadblocks. So now I'll walk you through how Sage AP Automation helps speed up the approval process. Back to Cavallo. So once we're happy with how everything's been coded, we're going to simply submit for approval. Once submitted for approval, we have countless approval channels, which we are able to establish and build out for you, making sure, excuse me, that your invoices are getting routed to the appropriate team. We have multiple channels that we can build out, custom or non-custom. We can look at specifics, whether it be a dollar threshold, if we want to look at if it's going to a certain department, if it's related to a GL account, any other information like that. And from here, we can simply go in, select the approvers that are actually needing to be on the approval process. So say we want Ben to approve this invoice first, and then additionally, the CFO, Jack, needs to view it. So now, every time an invoice gets routed for approval, we know it's going to go to Ben first. Then once Ben's approved it, it's going to flow over to Jack for that final approval, completing that approval channel. Now you may be asking, what does it actually look like to approve an invoice? Well, individuals here, so say Ben and Jack, will get an email notification, or if they have the mobile app, be notified on the app to let them know that there's invoices waiting for their approval. They'll click on the link on the email. It'll direct them to this approvals tab. And from here, they can just click into the invoice. They'll have the invoice PDF image posted there, have all the information that was coded by the AP team. And from here, it's a simple thumbs up. Yes, we approve what is presented here. If not, if there's any form of rejection, when they hit the reject button, it forces them to leave a comment. So now we're establishing communication back and forth, and there's a comment field here listed as well on the left. So now we have that communication between the team and the approvers. And that's as simple as it is, wrapping up the approval process. Okay, let's consider our final AP pain point, a lack of data visibility and reliability. As it stands, finance executives are not confident in the accuracy of their cash flow data. According to Blackline, 49% have multiple issues with data accuracy, while an incredible 98% think they could be more confident in their data visibility. And Experian research has shown how businesses believe 32% of their data to be inaccurate, while 66% of the finance employees think their CEOs have made business decisions based on incomplete or inaccurate data. Yikes. And finally, according to research from the University of Hawaii, an incredible 88% of spreadsheets contain inaccuracies. So it's no wonder that finance professionals aren't exactly happy with the state of their financial information. You might have noticed that we're back to where we started. Manual data entry is time-consuming, inaccurate, and error-prone, leaving finance leaders to rely on bad financial information. It's the opposite of a virtuous circle. Okay, let's jump back into the solution to show you how we can make your AP data more accessible and make it easy to find exactly what you're looking for in a few clicks. So once your invoice has been approved and everything's been sent back into your Sage, everything will be stored here under this Archive tab. This will be auditors' favorite playground, or for AP professionals or CFOs, their happy place as well, giving you lots of information. So this will be your new digital archive. On this screen, we have lots of things to see. So we can see whether or not invoice has been exported back to Sage with these quick little icons. If it's listed as do not pay, we can also see the money icons on the right showing that a payment has been completed. And when we click on that, we can actually look at the payment itself, giving you visibility. If there was an approval process, we have the thumbs up icon to show that approvals had taken place. As well, if there's any POs or any other information can be listed here on the side. Now, additionally, I know a main pain point a lot of the times that we hear as account executives at Sage AP Automation is, the inability to find an invoice quickly. So how we're able to do that is with a global search. You can search anything in this box. It could be an invoice number, it could be a date, it could be a total, it could be a vendor. So if we wanted to search a specific vendor, say like Amazon, we can quickly search that and pull every invoice related to Amazon and be able to find the invoice we're looking for exactly. Really saving the time and giving that visibility for teams across the board. Additionally, on this screen, we can utilize a reporting functionality as well. So say that example, we wanted to look at a vendor. We have these custom filters on the left-hand side. So say we wanted to look at a vendor. In this example, we're going to use ABC Furniture. We can actually run a search for this vendor here, have all that information posted there, and say we wanted to run a report on this vendor to bring it to upper leadership or to an auditor. We can easily select all the invoices which we want to run the report on. We can generate a PDF. And from here, we can actually download this report, and it will provide us with a total summary of the invoices, all the GL accounts that were being associated with it, date ranges, etc. And now you're asking, okay, what if there's 100 invoices? Instead of having to scroll through the page, we have these hyperlinks set up as well. So you can quickly click on, the number 6. It'll take you to the invoice, show you the vendor information, show you that GL account, everything that's associated, but it also has that approval history, making visibility very simple, very easy, all on one screen. I don't pretend to be a mind reader, but I can tell what a lot of you are thinking right now. That's all well and good, but adapting to a new technology is a major disruption. So I think we've got time to address one bonus pain point here. Fears over ease of integration and data sync are a major roadblock in tech adoption. We've heard it dozens of times regarding AP automation. How long until we're up and running? What's this going to look like for my IT team? Am I going to lose a load of data? They're all reasonable concerns. So let's take a minute to see how Sage AP Automation solves this problem. So Sage AP Automation uses a simple sync tool to offer best-in-class integration. All your legal entities log into the same sync tool via the server where your entities are hosted. You log in using your Sage credentials, and with a single click, perform either a full or partial sync with your Sage accounting software. You can schedule a sync at multiple periods during the day to catch any updates and make sure no data is lost. Our customers have found that complete integration, workflow, training, and sync takes an average of just 6 hours. In a little over half a day, you'll be up and running, so disruption to your workflows is super minimal. So let's take a look at how simple our onboarding process truly is. So here we're looking at our onboarding process and the implementation process. So how this works, essentially all it takes is 3 meetings to get you up and running live using an AP automation tool starting the moment you're set up. So the first meeting we're looking at is an integration meeting. This meeting looks at about 30 to 60 minutes long, sitting down with that IT team, making sure that those connections are built out with your Sage account and the Beanworks AP automation platform, establishing that connection so you're up and running from there. The second call, this 1 to 2 hours, the workflow. This call essentially looks at building out those approval channels, setting up the company workflows, making sure that the company structure has been labeled so that we have the appropriate departments, appropriate locations, multiple entities, all listed on one screen. And then lastly, training. So training, 1 to 2 hours with a one-on-ones training session, as well as we have multiple resources for those individuals that don't like to learn one-on-one and they want to do it on their own time to be able to train at home on their own time there. So if we were to look more at the integration meeting, like I kind of mentioned, you're connecting your software with Beanworks. This may involve installing an application or doing it directly through your UI. And all this information gets sent prior to the implementation or the integration meeting so that you have everything ready to go and we can get it as quick and easy as possible. Like I mentioned, the workflow call, just going to go through setting up those workflows, making sure those approval channels, everything's been created for you. And like I mentioned, training, developing your AP team skills and knowledge within Beanworks. We'll go through how to use the different Beanworks modules and give you through your new automated workflow. And that wraps up the onboarding process. Finally, let's take a look at how one of your peers has addressed these AP pain points with Sage AP Automation. So the Canadian Safety Organization of Ontario Trucking Association faced a number of AP pain points. Their AP process was entirely manual, and when we asked VP of Finance Joanne Bennick to list some of the inefficiencies that caused, she joked, "How much time do you have?" Adopting Sage AP Automation has allowed Joanne and her team to automate their manual data entry processes, saving 2 members of staff 2 hours a day each. That's 20 extra hours per week to spend on higher value tasks. Joanne described their former approval process as look at each invoice, manually stamp them, do the distribution, photocopy it, and then make sure she sees it. Now, all invoices are emailed and automatically scanned into the system for a simple 2-stage approval process. Joanne had used Sage 300 for many years and wanted an AP automation solution that could integrate quickly and easily with her established ERP. Joanne mentions, I wanted to make it as easy as possible for our team to adjust to a new tool and process. Joanne tells us that Sage AP automation works like a charm, a turnkey solution that allows her team to quickly get up and running without disrupting existing workflows. The OTS team are enjoying radically improved data access and visibility too. As Joanne tells us, all the information is there, invoices, payments, POs, they can verify everything. I just give them temporary access to Sage AP and they can review everything. So we'd love the chance to follow up with each and every one of you on pricing, implementation, and any questions specific to your company's workflow. Drop a yes in the chat if you'd like to follow up with us for more information. And yeah, thank you all so much for listening to today's webinar here. We're at the Q&A portion of our session now, so feel free to drop any questions in the chat if you haven't already.
Okay, so we do have a couple of questions in the chat right now. So first question is, can you set up multiple approvals dependent on dollar threshold? Example, one approval if the invoice is below $500, but two if it's above.
That is a fantastic question, and yes, you can. You can have multiple approval channels running at the same time. So you could have, for one example, like you mentioned there, under 500, and then another approval channel running at the same time for all those invoices coming in above $500.
Great. Next question. Can you create/export a report as Excel rather than PDF?
Another fantastic question. So you can actually have it run as a CSV file, which then from the CSV, you can actually export into Excel.
Great. Do the approvers need access to Sage, or is it something completed through email?
This is another fantastic question, and we get this one quite often. So the nice thing with the Beanworks Quadient AP automation platform, Sage AP automation, is there's unlimited user access. So all the approval process would take place within Sage AP automation. So you provide a user for your employees. They're able to then approve that information there within Sage AP automation, and then that gets sent back to your financial system.
Great. We have another question here. If I have 100 invoices to code and be approved, will the approver get 100 email notifications, or can it be sent in a batch of sorts?
Fantastic, another great question. So the email notification will happen once daily, or however often you want it to happen. So a lot of companies will say like, okay, at 8 a.m. start of the day, we want our employees to be notified of approvals that are waiting for them to be approved, or invoices waiting for their approval. And then in the email itself, there'll be a hyperlink. And when they click on that hyperlink, it'll take them to that approvals page that we went through. And from there, they'll have a list of all the invoices. So they're not getting 100 emails saying for each individual invoice. It's on a scheduled queue of just a notification reminder, letting them know that there are invoices, plural, waiting for them to be approved.